How's it going, everyone? Bass here, and welcome back to Mock Draft Thursday, where every Thursday I do a 7-round Green Bay Packers mock draft, and this is version 7.0. So last week in version 6.0, I had one of my favorite mock drafts thus far this year, and nothing has really changed from last week to this week. The Packers still have the same exact needs. They haven't made any signings or trades or anything of that sort. Obviously still have a big need at wide receiver, right tackle, edge, decent need at safety, and then of course also a little bit of a need at tight end. And then I can't forget defensive line as well. There is still a need there. Of course, I will be using the Giraffe Network's mock draft simulator. I do get a lot of comments saying that I should use PFF's mock draft simulator. They have players like Jalen Weidermeyer going in the 3rd or 4th round, which that dude's probably going to be undrafted. He has the worst RAS score of any tight end in history. They just have a lot of players that slide into later rounds as well that just definitely shouldn't be there. And I think every mock draft simulator kind of has faults, but I really like the Draft Network's mock draft simulator, so that's why I'm sticking with that. But if you guys did want me to do a mock draft where, say, the Packers were to trade Jordan Love, now you can do that on the PFF mock draft simulator. So in that case, then I would use it. So let me know down in the comments below if that's something you'd want to see. All right, so let's not waste any more time and get into this. Let's bring the draft screen up right now. And as we see, here's how the board sits. And again, I don't think I'm going to trade into the top 10. Maybe I'll do one next week or the week after where I do trade up a decent bit. The only way I think I would is if someone like Thibodeau or Kyle Hamilton fell to around pick 10. But other than that, probably keep it as is. So let's get this thing started, go over the first 5 picks. And some things are changing. Obviously, as the days go by, draft boards change and the simulators change as well. So now the majority of this simulation has Malik Willis going to the Lions at number 2. And then we see Evan Neal at 3, Equono at 4, and Trayvon Walker, the second edge player, instead of Thibodeau, off the board at 5. All right, so let's get the next 5 picks out of the way. Like I said, if someone like Thibodeau or Hamilton here did fall to 10, I might have to think about this, but they likely won't. Kyle Hamilton goes 7, and I would very much assume that Thibodeau goes here to the Falcons, and he does. Okay, so, and then to round it off, Sauce Gardner to the Seahawks and Jermaine Johnson to the Jets. And the Commanders are likely to grab Garrett Wilson here. I don't think he's worth trading up to pick 11 for. There's other receivers in this draft that I like. I think if the Packers land any one of Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Jamison Williams, Chris Olave, and even Treylon Burks, I'm happy. Treylon Burks is on the bottom of that list for me, but I still think he's going to be a good player in this league, so I wouldn't be crazy mad at that. But so there's a lot of wide receivers left. I do like Trevor Penning, the idea of Trevor Penning if he were to fall to say like 22, which isn't likely, but he could. But yeah, there's a lot of receivers on the board, so I don't think it's really necessary to trade up to 11 for someone like Garrett Wilson. All right, so as I expected, the Commanders did draft Garrett Wilson. Then we have Derek Stingley going to the Vikings, Andrew Booth going to the Texans, Jordan Davis going to the Ravens, and Drake London going to the Eagles. So we still have Kenny Pickett on the board, which the Saints could draft with one of these picks. Jamison Williams is likely also to go to the Saints with one of these picks. So he's most likely not going to be on the board at all at 22. But Trevor Penning could fall a little bit. We have Devontae Wyatt still on the board, which, I like Jordan Davis a lot better. Wyatt's a little bit older, but we still have Karl Aftis on the board, Olave, Daxton Hill, Treylon Burks, and Ajabo still up here as well. So I'm kind of okay with sitting where we're at right now. I don't really feel the need to trade up. But if I really did want someone like Jamison Williams, this would probably be the spot to do it right here at 16. So here we are at pick 22, and as I said, I did not expect it, but Trevor Penning did fall right into our laps here at 22. And I would love if this happened in real life, if we get up to pick 22 and Trevor Penning is still sitting there. Now, obviously, we need receivers. I'm not denying that. I still think we'll get one of Olave or Burks at 28, so I'm okay with waiting until that pick to grab a receiver. But Penning here, I know if I wait another pick, he's going to be gone. And Trevor Penning solves your problem right away at tackle. Now, he played all left tackle throughout his college career. We could see 771 snaps last year, 374, 733 in the prior 3 years. But he can certainly play right tackle. That is no question. And he has one of the most ridiculous PFF grades I have ever seen, a 97.3 in 2021 with a 99.9 run block grade, which is the highest PFF has ever charted. So that's absolutely insane. This guy is a day one starter at right tackle, and I guess he could essentially be the future at left tackle once Bakhtiari moves on. Trevor Penning, 6'7", 325 pounds. This dude's an absolute beast. I don't see any issue with taking him here at 22. I don't think he'll be here at 22, but if this were to happen, easy pick for me. So with this pick, I am selecting Trevor Penning out of Northern Iowa. All right, so at pick 28, I was correct in saying that one of Treylon Burks or Chris Olave would be here at 28. Dotson went before both of them, which I don't see happening, but he did to the Bills. Karlaftis to the Cardinals, Linderbaum to the Cowboys. Good pick for them there. Elam to the Bucks. And we do have Treylon Burks available. We also have Daxon Hill, Devin Lloyd, Lewis Seen, Boye Mafe, Perry and Winfrey. Sky Moore if you wanted to do that. So we have two options here. I'm gonna have to decide on. I am gonna get a receiver, but we have two options. We could go Treylon Burks, or we could trade out of the first round, get maybe another second or third round pick, and then go after Christian Watson. So really, at this point, just kind of need to see what I want to go with. So I think in this mock draft, I am gonna finally show some love for Treylon Burks. I've been really against the thought of Treylon Burks, but he's kind of growing on me, I'm not going to lie. And if you look at him here on PFF, he's 6'2", 6'3", 225 pounds. He's got the size to play outside. He's played mainly slot in his career at Arkansas, but he has some outside snaps. His grade versus man coverage being an 81.1, a 91.0 receiving grade, and an overall grade of 85.8. 65 receptions, 1,100 yards, and 11 touchdowns. And the analysis pretty much saying that you draft him to play outside and win one-on-ones where it matters most, downfield and in the red zone, and a big slot is his fallback position. So what it basically sounds like with Treylon Burks is he's versatile. You can kind of play this dude anywhere. He clearly has the size to play outside, and I think he can. That was never my gripe with him. It's just that he doesn't have much experience doing it. But I'm going to finally show some love for Treylon Burks here. I don't think I've drafted him in a single mock draft, and I know a lot of people like him. So in this mock draft, at pick 28, I'm not going to trade down. I'm going to go ahead and select the next best receiver on the board, and that is Treylon Burks out of Arkansas. All right, so for here in the second round at pick 47, the Commanders are selecting George Pickens is the next best receiver on the board, and I really want him to pair with Treylon Burks. I feel like that would be a great duo, and I know if I let him go past this pick, the Bears will select him. It seems like every time I do these for fun, or even in my videos, the Bears a lot of the time select either Christian Watson, who's already gone, or George Pickens at pick 48. So I'm going to go ahead and try to trade for this pick. Basically, I'm going to try not to give up a lot. I am going to be giving them a 5th round in 2022, and I normally don't do trades with future years, but, it's a mock draft. The Packers can trade future year picks in the draft, so I'm going to use those tools as they're allowed to me, and a 5th round draft choice to move up from 53 to 47, and then I'm just throwing on a 7. I'm going to try it without the 7, and then I'll throw on the 7 if they say no, just to see what they'll do, and they accept it anyway. So I didn't even need to give them the 7. And as we see, there's a lot of players on the board. I really like Cameron Thomas. I really like, where's he at? Roger McCreary here. If we needed to go for a corner, Trey McBride's here, Travis Jones, Logan Hall. There's still other receivers below Pickens, but it kind of drops off in my opinion. David Bell, really poor lead up to the combine. Mechie's pretty good. And then if you keep going down, Calvin Austin, a real small dude but fast, 5'8", 170. Who knows if the Packers really would draft someone like that. But getting someone like George Pickens, who the upside is unreal with someone like Pickens. Now, he hasn't shown much in college, but he is certainly has that upside. As we see last year, only 107 yards due to injury, but the year before that, 500 yards, and the year before that as a freshman, where he really blew up into the scene, 726 yards and 8 touchdowns. And like I said, the sky's the limit with him, 6'3", 195 pounds. I really like him in the second round with one of our picks if he does fall to it. I just don't think he would have here. That's why I traded up, but At pick 47, I am selecting George Pickens out of Georgia. So here we are at pick 59, our second of our second round picks here. And I think it is time to address edge. Now, I could go with someone like go tight end and Trey McBride, but I think edge is a little more of a need on this team. There's Logan Hall, but I really like Josh Pascal here. In this draft class, there are only 4 defensive linemen that are over 260 pounds, over a 35-inch vertical, and under a 4'8" 40. And those 4 are Aiden Hutchinson, Boye Mafe, Trayvon Walker, and Josh Pascal, who is the last one on that list remaining. And if we look here on PFF, Josh Pascal, 90.0 PFF grade in 2021, had 6 sacks, 4 hits, 28 hurries, and he's just a very good player. 90.2 run defense grade, a 16.3 pass rush win rate, which is ridiculous. A run stop win rate of 12.4. I think this guy is an absolute steal in the second round. I think Josh Pascal could be someone that could potentially sneak into the bottom of the first, early second. So I really like him here at pick 59. Address the edge room with Josh Pascal out of Kentucky. At pick 92, I believe this was the same pick that he fell to me last mock draft, and that is Leo Chanel. The Draft Network has him as the 74th ranked player. PFF has him as the 35th ranked player, so there's a big difference there. So that's probably why he fell to me at 92. If I was doing this on PFF, he would be far gone. And I agree. I don't think Leo Chanel is here in the 3rd round, but hey, it's a mock draft. I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of it. Leo Chanel would help a ton for our run defense. You use him as a run, straight up thumper type linebacker, a 91.5 overall grade in 2021, 74 tackles, and run defense of 94.1. So this dude is the definition of a run stopper. 44 run stops, tied for 9th. Misses some tackles, but he hasn't been that bad. And I really like him. And I do really like Chris Barnes as well, but I think the Packers could use one more solid linebacker. Oren Burks is now with the Niners. Not that he ever really did much, but other than that, they really don't have anyone else. I mean, they have McDuffie from last year. Ty Summers, which he should never step foot on defense. So I think getting someone like Leo Chanel for these early downs would be great to pair with Devondre Campbell. Getting him here at 92 is a no-brainer for me. So with this pick, at pick 92, I'm going Leo Chanel out of Wisconsin. So here at pick 132, I am going to go with another wide receiver. I think the Packers do draft 3 receivers in this draft. Now, I could wait till, say, the 7th round. The problem is the Packers don't have a 6th round draft choice, and that's where I have a lot of the receivers I do like as sleepers. And if we wait, Velus Jones will be off the board, and I like him a lot. And I just did a video on wide receiver sleepers, and he is definitely one of them, if you want to click the link right above. The thing I love about him is you can play him in the slot, you can play him outside, but most importantly, he is the best returner in this draft class. Over 3,000 kick return yards in his career, which the only problem with him is he is going to be a 25-year-old rookie. So that is an issue there. But I think the other things outweigh that. The fact that he's a speedster, I think he ran a 4.32. 807 receiving yards last year, 7 touchdowns. He can take the top off of defense. And we drafted Burks and Pickens, who neither of which have that tremendous speed like Velus Jones does. So getting someone like him, which the Packers will still need even if they were to draft Treylon Burks and George Pickens, I think is a need here. So with this pick at 131, I am drafting Velus Jones Jr. out of Tennessee. With this next pick at 140, I did sort it just by safety because that's what I want to select with this pick. As we see, we still have the punt god at the top here. A lot of running backs, some interior offensive linemen with Tyrese Robinson at center and Donovan West. Couple tight ends, Bo Melton, which we're set on receivers now. Couple good tackles, but we already got Penning, Braxton Jones, and Max Mitchell here. Brian Cook is the guy I have my eyes on here. He is easily the next best safety on this board. And then there's kind of a decent drop-off in my opinion. Brian Cook, if we go to PFF here, an 87.6 grade in 2021, 78 tackles. And then it also, as we see here, coverage grade of 88.8 and a run defense grade of 82.1 and a really nice force incompletion rate of 18.9%. He's tied for 46th best in coverage stops with 10, tied for 8th best in run stops with 25. Force incompletions, he's tied for 9th with 7. He's allowed 0 touchdowns and got 2 interceptions last year. Can play some slot, can play box, can play deep, even played some corner. So I really like Brian Cook here in the 4th round. I think he's a steal in the 4th round, and the Packers obviously have a need for a 3rd safety. They definitely do need one, and I think Brian Cook would excel at that. So at pick 140 here, I am selecting Brian Cook out of Cincinnati. All right, so here we are in the 5th round at pick 171. The punt god is still on the board, but I think he will last into the 6th round. And then other than that, there's just a lot of running backs, a couple tight ends that I don't really like. So I'm going to try to gain more picks and pick up a 6th round, which we don't have. Trading this 5th away and then getting a 6, 7, and 7. We're pretty much swapping our last 7th here, moving up 10 picks. But I'm basically gaining a 6 here, moving back, 18 spots, and then also gaining a 7 here at 230 there. So it's very likely. So let's go ahead and send this offer. Should be easily accepted. And it is, so we can pause this draft. As you can see on the board here, I do like Thayer Munford a lot. I was very tempted to draft him. He can play guard. He played left tackle. I think last year or the year before at Ohio State, and had his best PFF grade actually at left tackle. But we drafted Penning. So Munford here, I could have gone with Romeo Doubs as a receiver, but we already have 3 of those. Same with Justin Ross here. Couple interior guys with Cade Mays. Dare Rosenthal still on the board, but there's a couple more guys down here that I like a little bit better, and I think drafting Areza at the 6th round, if he falls to that, I'm okay with. So let's go ahead and resume it. Now, if I did say Areza was here in the 6th round, I'd probably take him, but I have changed my mind. I do need to address tight end still. If we look at my picks here, don't have a tight end picked yet, and I really like Charlie Kolar in terms of a 6th round pick. 6'6", 255. Fits right in as a wide tight end 2 in a 12 personnel. And if we look at his stats, he's produced every single year and has played well every single year. Almost an 85 plus every single year. Very, very consistent. 85.5 receiving grade, 66.7 contested catch, drop rate of 3.1%, even a decent run block grade at 69.3. We see last year 764 yards and 6 touchdowns. Could be that red zone threat. Using, like I said, 12 personnel. The Packers need another tight end. So I am going to go to, I guess, eventually replace someone like Mercedes Lewis. So I'm going to go Charlie Kolar here out of Iowa State. So here at pick 228, we have 3 7th-round picks. I'm going to go offensive line again in Luke Kadeki. I think he goes way earlier in this, probably around the 5th round. PFF has him as their 100th ranked player, and I see why. I mean, 92.2 PFF grade, allowed 0 sacks and 425 pass block snaps at right tackle last year. 94.3 run block, 77.8 pass block. He can play guard. He can play tackle. He's versatile. We already have Penning. Getting another beast like Luke Kadeki here in the 7th round, I think, is a steal. So it's easy for me. We have 2 more picks after this. So the first one, Luke Kadeki out of Central Michigan. So with our second of our 3 7th round picks, I'm going to address defensive line here. Could have done it earlier, but I liked where all our other picks went. I'm going to go with Neil Farrell Jr., another guy that I don't think will be here in the 7th round, but he is on this mock draft simulator. PFF, 89.8 grade in 2021. He had 1 sack, 4 hits, 19 hurries. Pass rush grade of 79.0. Run defense grade, 89.9. Pass rush win rate, 13.6. Run stop rate, 11.4. All really good numbers. Like I said, with those numbers, I just don't see him falling to the 7th round. Just adding more talent to this Packers defense to stop the run. So I really like this pick here. At 230, we're going Neil Farrell Jr. out of LSU. So for our last pick, I'm going to go cornerback. I don't know if I've actually gone true cornerback in any of these mock drafts, which I think the Packers could in the late rounds, maybe to grab a more slot-ready cornerback. It's sight to be seen if they're going to run Shamar Jean-Charles at slot corner or drop down or put Jair at the star slot and keep Stokes and Rasul on the outsides. But they kind of do need another corner, a guy that is a developmental depth guy. And I really like Michael Wright here at 239. I think he's a pretty good corner. He played all outside at Oregon, as we see here, all outside corner, very little slot. But his size, being 5'10 and a half and 173 pounds, likely projects him as a slot cornerback in the NFL. He's good at short to intermediate coverage. He's a pretty decent tackler. And as we see here, coverage rate is 71.2, run defense 64.5, 6 forced incompletions. It did have 11 missed tackles, so there is a worry there. It's mainly with like bigger running backs and whatnot. He kind of got beat in that regard. Allowed a 98.1 passer rating, allowed 4 touchdowns, 426 yards, and also had interception. So really just a developmental guy here that, could play outside in a pinch, but you're likely going to project him to the slot in the NFL. So with our last pick in this draft, I'm going to go Michael Wright, cornerback out of Oregon. All right, so that does it for my Green Bay Packers 7-round mock draft version 7.0. Only 3 left until draft day, and of course version 10.0 will land on draft day. So let's go over this draft class real quick. At the first pick, Trevor Penning fell to us at 22. I would be ecstatic if Trevor Penning was there at 22 and the Packers did select him. This dude is an absolute beast, has the best run grade of all time via PFF. He could play right tackle right off the bat, could be a future at left tackle. He is day one starter, no problem. Throw him right in at right tackle where the Packers have a need and send it. At pick 28, I gave Treylon Burks some love. 6'2", 225. Some sites have him listed as 6'3". He's going to be a good player in the NFL. I never said he wasn't going to be. I just didn't like him in terms of the Packers because he has a lot more experience in the slot, which the Packers really don't need. Now, I do think he will play outside. He can play outside. He'll either play that or big slot, and he's just versatile, and I think he will be a good player. So I showed him some love here and finally drafted Treylon Burks because I don't think I ever have here at 28. And then at pick 47, we did trade up to 47 with the Commanders, jumped the Bears, who usually select Pickens, and I selected George Pickens. He checks every box for the Green Bay Packers: RAS, athleticism, all the above. And to add him to the wide receiver room with Treylon Burks would be amazing. Not to mention that we got Trevor Penning in the first round as well. These first 3 picks would be very, very nice. And George Pickens, again, just another a perimeter outside wide receiver. The upside is unreal with Pickens, so I'm really happy with that pick. Josh Pascal, I think, is a steal in this draft, especially at 59. I think he could go early in the second round. This dude has great vertical 40 time, athleticism, really good edge here, and the Packers need a third edge, so very good pick there in my opinion. And then Leo Chanel fell to 92. I think he did in the last mock draft as well. I would say he's a very big steal at 92. I think PFF has him as their 34th player or 35th player, and then this website has him as like their 74th. So big disconnect there, but nonetheless, great run defender. And I really like Leo Chanel to help the Packers in the run defense game. 132, we did draft our third receiver within the first 150 picks, and that is in Velus Jones Jr., who mainly played slot, 6 years in college, 4 at USC, 2 at Tennessee. He's going to be a 25-year-old rookie, but he is the best pure returner in this class, and the Packers sure as hell need some special teams players, and especially a returner. Over 3,000 plus kick return yards in his career. He's consistently, he was at the top of the SEC in terms of punt return and kick return yards last year. Very, very fast. I think he ran a 4.32. Can take the top off of defense when you put him on offense. Can use him as a gadget player in screens, RPOs, all the above. Really like him as a third receiver option after drafting Treylon Burks and Pickens. And then at 140, we go Brian Cook. The Packers have a desperate need at a third safety position, and I think Brian Cook checks every single box at that. Can easily be that third safety. Can go in the slot, can drop down to the box, has good coverage grade, has good run defense grade, can play deep if you want to drop Savage or Amos. You can do it all, in my opinion. I think he's a steal at 140. And then at 189, I traded back to 189, and I drafted Charlie Kohler. He's been a consistent producer for the last 3 years at Iowa State. 6'7", 255, can play that wide tight end 2 and 12 personnel. It has, like I said, been consistent, around 85 plus PFF grade all the 3 last years. Really like him here at 189 as a developmental future tight end. And then at 228, we had one of our 3 7th-round picks. We had Luke Kadeki. He also has a very nice PFF grade, 6'5", 310, can play guard, can play right tackle. Really like him as a depth guy on the offensive line. At 230, Neil Farrell, don't believe he'll be there. Same with Luke Kadeki. Don't believe these guys will be here at these 2 picks, but they were in this mock draft, so I selected them. Neil Farrell, really good numbers last year at LSU, getting some depth on our interior defensive line. And then finally, Michael Wright. I think it's the first time I ever drafted a corner out of Oregon. He played mainly outside at Oregon, 5'10 and a half. 173 pounds, but he's projected to play in the slot, and the Packers could use some developmental corners. So Michael Wright here as our last pick at 239. But I want to hear your thoughts about this mock draft. I really like this mock draft personally. I went a little different in terms of what I usually do. I wanted to kind of switch it up a little bit in terms of the guys I draft and try to do, like I said, something a little bit different. But let me know what you think of this draft down in the comments. What picks do you really, really like? And then also, as always, if there was a time I was on the board or on the clock and there was a guy there that you really liked and I didn't draft him, let me know in the comments as well. But of course, I will be here next week for version 8.0. Let me know what you want me to do with that draft. If there's there's a certain thing you want me to do, say a PFF one where I trade Jordan Love, like I said earlier, just let me know in the comments as well. And of course, if you are new here and you want more Packers news analysis and updates, mock drafts regarding salary cap, free agency, and the draft, make sure to go down and click the subscribe button. And then also, if you could leave a like on this video, it would support my channel a ton. But that about does it. I'll catch you on the next one. And as always, go Pack Go.